This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Matchroom's latest signing, Pat Brown. Pat, lovely little smile there on your face. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that the lid's now been released and I don't have to keep hiding to everyone who am I going with and answering all the questions over and over again. So everyone can now see I'm with Matchroom and I'm ready to go at the start of the year, hitting the ground running.
What was the deciding factor for you to team up with Eddie and Matchroom as opposed to anybody else who you would have had conversations with?
I would say just it's always been my gut feeling, to be fair, and when I was doing all the negotiations and I met the Matchroom team, obviously it's a family-run business, and I like how they're always behind the fighters and they're loyal, and they kind of, let's say there's some slightly bad press about a fighter, they're still behind him like a rock no matter what, and sort of Eddie and Frank, they had the same vision as me, getting me to where I need to be, and it aligned with my sort of views and thoughts, and yeah, it just sat well with me, it seemed right.
We know Eddie's obviously a good talker, Pat, so when you initially met him, when he was on the phone to you, what was he like? How would you explain Eddie Hearn behind?
Like? Well, funny enough, I didn't speak to him on the phone at first hand. I actually went to the Matchroom HQ, sat around the table, and he was running a little bit late because he was doing a gym workout. I think he just played that card on purpose, to be fair. And then he come in, and yeah, we had a good chat, and I seen him in person the way I wanted it to be.
We've seen over social media, these last couple of days, that Matchroom have been dropping a lot of teasers about yourself signing with them, and to no detriment to yourself, a lot of people were thinking it might be a more established name, not somebody who's just about to turn over. And Eddie said that's just how much they want to push you. That's how hard they're going to go with you in your career now. What does that mean to you to see that type of backing?
Yeah, it means everything, and that's what boxing's all about. If you've got the backing and you've got the fundamentals and the foundation, you can get to wherever your dreams will take you, really. And what he said in the boardroom to me, he's lived up to that. Matchroom have, and they've done exactly what we spoke about. And in terms of people obviously expecting it to be a big name and stuff, I understand it. And on the other hand as well, I think with all the misfits boxing now and the big fights that we're getting, they're already ready-made stars and people are used to that. Whereas where do you think these ready-made stars have come from? They always come from nothing, don't they? So I believe that everyone has to start from nothing, and then you have to prove people wrong, and you've got to show them what you're about, and I'm ready to do that.
Pat, over the years, we're used to seeing people who have amateur pedigree, you have yourself, moved relatively quickly in their pro career. How do you want to see your career progress from when you make your debut next year?
I'm a hybrid. I'll go down whatever avenue. If my manager and Matchroom think I should go down the fast route, I'll do that. If they think go down the slow and steady and pave my way through, I've just turned 25, so I've got age on my side. I'll definitely do that. So I've been taught off my dad, fear no man, but there's always someone hard around the corner, and if you've got that mentality, you'll be all right. So never underestimate anyone. So yeah, whoever they put in front of me, I'll fight, and I'll go in the ring knowing I'm going to win.
And obviously, from the sounds of it, you're going to leave a lot of that side of things to your team to take care of in terms of the development of your career. But do you look at, say, other GB athletes and how their careers have started and think, I'd like to go that route, or maybe I don't like the way that they've done things, so I want to do things differently? Do you look and see how other careers have tracked since they've turned over?
Not really, no. I don't really look into stuff like that, to be fair. I like to have a simple mindset with boxing. At the end of the day, it's two men getting in the ring and they're having a fight with two hands, and everything around it, that's not really my job. My job's just to get in there and do my job and put the guy away. So I kind of just focus on my training, making sure I'm in the best possible shape I can be, and then deliver on the night. So all that sort of fog and all the hype and all that stuff, that's been created. I kind of keep away from all that, to be fair.
Eddie, Sam, Jamie have all mentioned to us whilst we sat there, you're a big ticket seller, you have a lot of fans behind you. How important do you feel like that is going to be, especially at the beginning of your career, but also how are you going to find trying to manage expectations, just because, let's say, if you start your career in a blistering fashion and then maybe you come up against somebody who unexpectedly might give you a tougher fight than what you think, how are you going to find managing everybody's expectations if follows your
obviously, career? Every single fighter that's having a bit of hype behind them and stuff, there's always going to be opinions, there's going to be expectations and stuff like that, and I just switch off from it, really. I know how many people I can bring to a place, and they're not fans. I know them on a personal level, the family and friends, and I think that's what's so raw and beautiful about it, because they're coming there and they're screaming and shouting because they genuinely want to be there and they want to see me succeed, and I think that's beautiful. And in terms of, you know, like if I step up and some guy, I'm fighting some guy and I'm thinking, God, this guy's pretty good, I'll be happy with that. I'm learning on the job, and if I can have a fight with someone and they give it me a bit, that's what I want. I don't want no like boring fights and stuff. I want to have a bit of a tear up also. Don't get me wrong, you can't be taking loads of punishment because you need to stay switched on. You've got a box, but on the flip side, I absolutely love it as well. I love standing in the middle and giving the fans what they want.
Just said there you love standing in the middle, giving fans what they want. You're not scared of a tear up. Earlier on you mentioned that it's something you're quite keen on. How fan friendly of a style should we expect to see when Pat Brown steps between those ropes?
Well, I've only ever been taught off my dad really to set on my shots and punch with bad intentions every single shot I throw. Obviously, as I've developed with my experience with GB, they kind of, you know, they finesse me a little bit, which has worked in my favour. I was quite raw, and I just had a big heart, and I wanted to have a fight, but I can also box as well. There's no mistake about that. So yeah. You'll get both sides. It's just a matter of, obviously this is all the talking and everyone can talk, but it's about actually walking the walk and doing the job, and once I start doing the job on that, people will then start to see what I'm about.
The cruiserweight division domestically, it's stacked with so many potentially brilliant fights. Obviously you've got Chris bILLAM-Smith, who's leading the way despite his recent loss to Zerdo Ramirez, but alongside that you have the likes of Richard Riakporhe, Isaac Chamberlain, just below maybe Vidal Riley. Are these the types of fights that you're looking at, you're thinking when the timing's right, really get?
Yeah, when the timing's right, 100%. Yeah, I think everyone domestically in the cruiserweight division, they want them fights. That's what boxing's about. Boxing's not about just stealing fights and trying to just, you know, get your pocket full and all that. I want to have some decent fights, and I want to have fights that get remembered, and they point at me and say he can fight him, and that's what I want to bring. And yeah, them sort of fights, yeah, music to my ears, and I respect all of them, and yeah, it'll be later down the line, whenever that will be, it'll be something to look forward to.
I know in the past when people have turned over, they might have had some type of a rivalry to carry through from previous amateur days. Yeah. Are you in the same position? Do you have somebody you have that personal amateur rivalry with?
At the moment, no, there's no one to look at, and I think I've got a rivalry with you, and I don't ever look at someone with hatred, or, you know, I really want to get in there and rip your head off. I think that might develop if someone comes at me and gives me all that. It might, you know, blossom into that. But at the moment, I've got no rivals. I just want to get my experience underway, and yeah, just see what this pro game's about, because obviously it's going to be different to the amateurs.
Do you feel like there's going to be a target on your back?
After all this press and stuff and the hype, there will be a target on my back, and that's sound. If people want to have it and stuff, then I'll have it with them, and that's what the world of boxing is. You know, the fans want to see a big rivalry. They want to see, you know, a big build up, and that's what boxing, you know, it gives to the people. And yeah, if I can be a part of that, yeah, happy days.
I know this is somewhat of your first experience of it in terms of the media, the hype, everything that's to come. But how are you finding it so far? Because compared to GB, I know you're very much in that Team GB camp up in Sheffield. You're away from all of the lights. You're allowed to just focus on one thing, which is your boxing. It's a very different scenario in the pros, where you've got all of us pestering you every other day for an interview and on your case.
Definitely, yeah, it's completely different in terms of the media side of things, and in terms of like being on GB, when it was getting closer to the Olympics, the media definitely ranked up, so I got some good experience there. But I've always been able to, like, I'm a people's person. I like having conversations, like talking boxing and stuff like that. So all this media stuff is just, yeah, I embrace it and I enjoy it for what it is.
There's a couple I want to quickly end on, because I know you've got to be whisked away. Edwards Yafai, Galari fight, former amateur standout. What's your thoughts on his fight this weekend?
So obviously, I'm going to come from like a biased point of view, because I trained on the GB setup with Galal, and he is an unbelievable talent. He's aggressive. He's got a tight guard. He's a nightmare for anyone. But obviously, from Sonny, he's a slippery operator. He's very, very talented, and it really is one of them fights where some people are flipping a coin, some people are siding with Galal. Obviously, I'm going with Galal. I think he's just I've seen him spar, and I know they've done a lot of rounds together, but he really is a nightmare, and I've got big respect for him as well. He's a lovely man, and yeah, he's also put a good word in for me on the GB setup, and he's taught me a hell of a lot, as well as his brother Cal as well.
And last thing I was want to ask you about, obviously being up there at cruiserweight, you're a big boy. Have you ever crossed paths with a young Moses Itauma at all during camps?
Yeah, So when I was on my GB assessment, I was on my last assessment, and they said I'm bringing a kid in. Rob said I'm bringing a kid in for you to spar. He's 18 years of age, so I'm thinking an 18-year-old getting in the ring with me, like, this is going to be a walk in the park. And I remember getting in with him. He's come out southpaw, like bang, and I'm thinking, God, this kid's good here. And we ended up having a proper, grueling round of sparring. It was brilliant. We're going back and forth, and obviously I got on the GB assessment, but they were impressed from the spar, and then afterwards I've been told that he's the next future prospect and stuff, and I kind of said, what, fair play, because I was thinking, like, there's no way an 18-year-old kid could do what he did in the ring, and yeah, it was good. We both had it, and yeah, it was a good spar. And then when he was training for the European youths and I was training for the national title for the second time, we did some more rounds together because we both benefit each other. And yeah, he's a top talent and he's a sound lad. I get on with him.
Who would you say was your toughest sparring experience in the amateurs?
Martin Bakole. I remember Christmas Eve, Nigel took me to Scotland, and
that's commitment, by the way. Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah. And we've gone to Scotland, and yeah, he was training for the who's the French kid who went to the Olympics?
Tony Oka?
Yeah, he was training for that fight, and he wanted me to kind of dance around the ring a little bit, be hard to it. And I remember getting in, and I was a little bit younger then, to be fair. I wasn't as big as I am now, but I just thought, this man's presence in the ring, I've never been in a ring where I thought, like, there's nowhere to go. And the way he was just like flicking the shots out, and yeah, he's a very big, strong man, and it was a great experience.
Well, Pat, listen, it's a pleasure to talk to you for the first time. I'm sure it won't be the last. Enjoy the rest of your media duties to come, and thanks for speaking to me at Boxing News.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Man. Thank